mine runs faster?
Altitude. Hey, altitude actually.
Altitude matters.
Altitude matters for
Listen,
that.
the azimuth. Is it azimuth? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
I made that up.
It's the polarity. It's like when dogs have to do the perfect circle to find the place to take a crap.
It is the polarity. That's great. Yeah, I'll figure that out.
So we're about to jump into a new NBA season.
Mm-hmm.
And outside of an alcohol announcement for the second decision.
Yeah, how about that? How about I'm taking my talents to Cavassier?
To a bar.
What was that? I forgot the alcohol.
I don't even know. Like, I saw it. I saw that it was alcohol, and I turned it off.
No, it was Hennessy. It was a Hennessy announcement. Like, and to announce that, and then somebody else did something. I forget who the player was, but somebody else, maybe it was Anthony Edwards, that had an announcement. I didn't even hear what happened, and maybe nothing did. Maybe he was just mocking him.
I think it's weird. I mean, it wasn't needed. Something like that might have been cool had LeBron announced his retirement.
I knew it wasn't. I knew that wasn't it, but I was like, what's he going to talk about? But I think the original announcement gets so much negative response for good reason. But the one thing that I'll support him on, that he made the announcement, taking my talents to South Beach, whatever.
Yeah.
Had all those kids in the gym and did all these things. I do remember him prior to that raising a ton of money for like the Boys and Girls Club, or there was some sort of philanthropic angle to it that completely gets overlooked. So if I'm like, if I was him then, and I don't know if he did this or not, but raise a ton of money and give the money away. Like, hey, I'm going to do an announcement.
Yeah.
Like take like Jokic, for example, in Denver, like Jokic announcement coming soon, and we're going to broadcast it, and we're going to sell all the broadcasting, time, the advertisers, et cetera, like raise $10 million for the broadcast.
Yeah.
And then give it all away.
That'd be great.
That's genius.
That'd be
right?
great.
You can announce, you can do any announcement you want. Like, I'm going to tie my shoes in a new way, but we raised $10 million to give to the Boys and Girls Club.
Just for the advertising
Just
dollars.
for the advertising dollars. Yep. And I know that wasn't exactly what happened, and I know that was obviously a self-serving moment, I think, for LeBron, and just to do it to me, it was, I still don't know why he did it. Was it because, I don't know, I just don't understand why you would take up all of that time just to say I'm being traded or I'm taking, I know there's a giant free agency. We've talked about this all the time, you and I have.
Yeah.
About who's, not that we're going to talk about the GOAT conversation. I'll never do that. I like talking about it. Like
you have more respect for the game, though.
Well, I just think it's literally so somebody can say what they want to say. It has nothing to do with, you'll never know. Kareem will never be, on the floor with Michael or LeBron or Kobe. It'll never, ever happen. It is the biggest hypothetical topic on the planet.
Right, and in sports, and
right,
you say this countless times. You always say you're dealing in hypotheticals. You can't deal in hypotheticals.
Yeah, nope. Always not a fan.
Nope.
And because it is what it is. Like, the hypothetical is just, it's so grandeur. You can make up anything you want. Like, people always say, well, what about in a one-on-one game? I'm like, I don't care about one-on-one. I really don't care about who's better. Like,
and you'll never see it.
And you'll never know.
You'll
right?
never see it.
And it's only I think, for the person who's like has the argument to say, I've watched so much basketball, or I know so much that I need to tell you about what I know.
Right.
I don't care. I know who I put all of my, thought as who my hero was in basketball. Yeah. I know who that is, and I have really good reasons why. And some people support my choice and some people don't. It really bothers me how there's like this blanket, like, it's LeBron because he's 41 years old or whatever, 40 years old, and he's done it for so long, and it's such a ridiculous conversation. It's not a ridiculous conversation. It gets everybody involved, which I'm glad people want to talk about it. But it's just so, like, it's really irrelevant, and you'll never win. It's sort of like, you'll never win. No one will ever go, you know what? I thought it was LeBron, and now I don't anymore. Or, no, or Jordan or vice, or whoever. Pick your hero, right? I just don't ever see it settling.
Well, it'll never be settled. One of the things that I kind of like what people are doing now is in video games, they are inserting that player into that era and seeing how that player fares.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because video games are wild, they're detailed, they can give you information that nobody ever had before, but it's funny to see how people are dropping Jordan into LeBron's starting career with that roster with the Cavs and seeing, oh, well, he didn't win his first title until this year, or, vice versa, like dropping LeBron into the Bulls era where he goes through a massive drought, eventually leaves, and they try to make it mimic the same career path, even so far as LeBron coming out of retirement and playing for the Wizards, which is a wild thing to do, but like you said, you're never going to know.
Right.
You're never going to know.
And the AI part of it is kind of cool to see like who would do what, but it's like, I just think for me and for anybody, well, we talk about basketball all the time, and if you're not watching the film or watching the games, I just think you're missing it. Short of saying, don't talk to me unless you've watched the games, or don't talk to me unless you watch film. But I think that's like I don't, like college football on Saturdays, people are like, oh, such and such team and this, that. I'm like, I'm not watching the games. No offense to college football, but it's like I'm not going to sit here and have a giant opinion on a certain thing, and I don't watch the game. So and if you just watch highlights in the NBA, we are a highlight-driven league. They are a highlight-driven league, not we, but they spoon feed all the little stuff. Like you're going to see Cooper flag highlights for days. Like I think the first game is San Antonio, Dallas.
Yep.
Is one of the opening games next week, this coming week. Certainly I'm going to watch it, and I can't wait to see it. And I think Cooper's going to do really well. But like the league is so good at marketing what it is that they want to do and who they want to highlight. But at the same time, there will be early projections for all the things. There's going to be one game.
Yeah.
Or there's going to be one play, in the first game against San Antonio where Cooper does something and everybody's going to be like, here he is, here he comes, here's the best. And he probably will win Rookie of the Year. That's my guess. That's obviously way too early of an analogy, but what really bothers me is the propping up of something that hasn't even happened yet. Right. And so even like I'm listening and watching all these podcasts and all these shows now, the Eastern Conference preview and the Western Conference preview, and like the added this roster and this player went to here and all the things. No one knows. And no one's going to know for 20 games. You need 20 games to even go, all right, how are we shaking out? It's like, I remember last year, for example, Cleveland was far and away the best team in the East by record, like throughout most of the season. And they were
throughout the entire season?
Throughout the entire, I think they were, I think they were number one seed. Somewhere, I forget the seeding that they were.
Yeah.
But, and then they weren't very good in the playoffs.
Nope.
And they failed, they failed in the playoffs. So it's like, not that it doesn't matter, but one of the things that, and this is a total side subject, but like the people that I talk to in basketball that are former NBA guys, they even contend that the regular season it's not irrelevant, but it's getting less relevant as we keep going. It's sort of like, just get in the tournament, get into the top 10, do your play-in, or get into the top 8, get into the top 4 for a home court, just get in, and then figure it out from there. You don't have to be, 60, 70-win team, Chicago. Right. You don't have to do that. I like it when they do that because it shows to me like a team like those, even that Golden State team that beat the Bulls record.
Yeah, 73-9.
Yeah, something like that.
Over 72-10.
Yeah. And
that's fun.
And I love that because, they show up to the playoffs with, we're not going to lose.
Right.
There's no chance
we're
going to lose. In Chicago, it was just that was a different thing then.
Right.
And I don't think we have that anymore. I don't think there's any team that people are scared of. And
yeah, I agree with that.
There isn't. I don't think, and I don't think there's a team that's like, there's no, there are 6 teams that can win, I think.
At any given time.
6 teams that can win a championship this year.
Okay.
Maybe 4. there's 2 or 3 West, and of course the East is possible. The Knicks could win. Atlanta's going to be good, but not a championship team, I don't think. Milwaukee will be solid, but not maybe championship team. I do think the West will win the whole thing. Now, whether that's Oklahoma City, and I think Denver has a legitimate chance to win.
Especially with the reformatting and retooling of a roster.
It's going to be fun to watch. And this is where, the early returns on Cam Johnson and all those things, and even like Bruce Brown and even the rookie kid, who now I'm forgetting his name, Jones, I think is the kid, undrafted kid at Iowa State, who's having a good preseason. But still no one knows. Right. And it's like all the what ifs. Go ahead.
You're an injury away from.
That's what I was just going to say.
Everything being derailed too.
Jokic, and I'll say him, knock on the wood. I don't think he's been injured yet.
No.
And the style of play that he has doesn't lend himself to flying, to running very fast, to moving very much. He's
got a lot of heft, a lot of insulation to protect from it.
He's a big dude. Yeah, and he, even in his fittest, he's still, one of the things I was telling somebody, I forget who it was, but a couple times I've mentioned this, but watching him play is like watching a dad, let's call it average height, 6-foot dad, playing against his 11, 12, or 13-year-old kid and all of his friends.
Yeah.
And it's just one dad on the floor with a bunch of 13-year-old kids.
Yeah.
Where the dad kind of holds the ball up and holds the kid off, and he's at least a head taller than everybody. And if there is a kid who's just as tall as him, he's nowhere near as strong. And the game is slow and easy, and you just kind of throw it and look and do it. That's literally how it feels to me watching him play. Is like the oversized, stronger than everybody else, slower than everybody else, but just and has a high IQ, can find whomever. It's just fun to watch him just destroy teams.
His conditioning is amazing to me. I don't get it.
I'm curious I'd be curious of his conditioning. Like, what does it mean for him to be in shape, and when has he ever been in the best shape? I'm curious on that.
Yeah, I want to know that from him. Is what does he consider to be the best year of his career for shape?
Yeah, I'd like to know, like, when did you feel like I'm athletic? I'm like, Luka lost all this weight, which another storyline, revenge Luka. But like, does he feel the best now? Does Luka feel his best he's ever felt? Being was a bit overweight, and every year he would get overweight to start the season.
Yeah,
he always had a propensity to be kind of thick.
Yeah,
and now he's really fit. Looks like a pro athlete ready to go. But to your point, like, when was Jokic? I'd love to, if anybody knows out there, Jokic, if anybody knows, ask him. I'm curious.
Please.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's so back to the original point of, like, there's 4 teams. I think Oklahoma City, I think Denver has a shot. I think LA. It's funny how I find this fascinating, what I talked about the other day, as far as this being Luka's best roster he's ever had.
Yeah.
And I think Chris Broussard was one that I kind of heard it from first, where he's like, with LeBron, championship possibilities. Without him, still a really good team in the West. And I completely agree. But it's funny how I was like, I kind of compared the two rosters with, on TikTok, I think, and on Instagram as well. But the hatred for Kyrie Irving, I was like, wow, you guys don't like him at all. I was like, I went through the 23 roster when they went to the finals and lost to Boston. But it was like Luka, and then Kyrie, and then PJ Washington, Tim Hardaway Jr., and a bunch of solid guys, Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively, and they were like, and I said Kyrie was a top 10 player, and I still think he's a top 10. Name 9 other guys that you'd be like, he's nowhere near. He's in the group. He's in the discussion.
Yeah,
he's an all-star.
He can deliver it.
He's an all-star. Yeah, he's one of the best ball handlers we've ever seen in the game.
Still,
we'll see after the ACL. I'm sure he's going to be fine. But the amount of Kyrie Irving, top 10 player, you're high. I'm like, what? I couldn't believe. Again, this is where I got that point earlier about, if you don't watch the games, don't come at me. I think you have to have to watch it. You have to see him, and you watch Kyrie Irving, you're like, that guy's really good.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
I mean, watching him, the two of them together, especially during that run, was great. This does kind of segue us into how we even started this. With LeBron, the Lakers have potential title aspirations. Without, still a good team that
I think so.
That maybe could do it. Still,
I think they can get. I think they, their roster is. I actually forgot about one guy when I was going through the review of it, but Marcus Smart was added to their roster.
Yeah,
Marcus Smart is a bit undersized, but he's strong. He's a good defender.
Yeah.
The best thing about a guy like Marcus Smart is, again, I mentioned it, but he doesn't need the basketball to help you win. He'll rotate properly. He won't miss an assignment. He won't miss practice. You don't have to worry about Marcus Smart. He's a pro. Like he's been around a long time. He's a pro. It's like, I think the masses get, they fall in love with whatever the new shiny thing is, but there's still second, third year, these young guys that maybe aren't really that good at doing professional basketball yet. They're talented, they can run, jump, have some skill, but they still haven't figured out professional basketball yet. And you think about, like, one guy reminds me of is Jeff Green, and Jeff Green was a Nugget, was a Sonic, of all things.
Yeah.
And so when Denver won.
That's so old.
Right? I know. When they won, I was like, and Jeff Green left with Bruce Brown and then with KCP when he left too. After that, I was like, the luxury of Jeff Green on your team is invaluable. Like
right.
It's sort of like, I remember somebody talking years ago about how Pat Riley doesn't have to get all 12 guys to buy in.
Right.
Just one.
Yeah.
You just need one guy. But that one guy has to be Magic or Kareem or whomever it is. You have to get Alonzo Mourning when they were with the Heat. So it's like, if Jeff Green, who doesn't play that much, who's a backup, and he doesn't miss days, and he never not shows up, he never not does his job really well, how do the young guys that are just getting there? It doesn't happen anymore. I don't think it happens as much. It used to happen a lot.
Right.
I remember when I was first in the league in the late 90s, we had a lot of players that you knew that just didn't practice. They just would take days off. They would take liberties. They thought that they had a little bit more scratch than others, and that they didn't.
You want to share with everybody? Give them something juicy. No.
Yeah. Well, no. It was the Timberwolves of '96, '99, and so I had Garnett, Marbury, Sam Mitchell, Tom Gugliotta, Cherokee Parks. Chris Carr was on one of our teams. Trying to think who else. Terry Porter was on this. Anyway, a bunch of these guys. But
and I love Terry Porter.
Yeah, Terry Porter was great. Stephon and he was first-year player. So he's a first or second-year player. I think it was his rookie year, '96. And he just would kind of take days off.
Yeah.
Just wouldn't do as much. And then you had Garnett, on the other hand, who would never take a day off.
Right.
Sam Mitchell would never take a day off. And all these guys, they just, when that player who doesn't play that much, when you see them do everything, how do you justify as a young guy? You justify it just because you do it. Like, I'm the star, I'm the all-star, I can do whatever I want kind of thing. And that happens all the time. But from a team standpoint, that's loud. Meaning, like, I see you taking advantage of this and not doing what you probably should be doing to help us win.
Yeah.
And now I'm pissed. Like, you are ruining this for me. And I don't know if I hope that doesn't happen anymore. I think there's probably players that think they should have days off, or should take liberties because they're a star or whatever. But I think the ones that I'll give the example of Andre Miller. So with the Nuggets in 11-13, we had Andre Miller, I think, on both of those teams. But this was preseason. This was September, and we were in the gym, and I forget what it was. I don't know. It doesn't even matter when it was. But essentially, Coach Carl was like, Andre, you don't have to. You can take today off. You don't have to. He's like, I'm not. I'm here to, and he was like 38, 30.
This is what I get paid for.
Yeah, I'm a pro, and I love basketball, and I'm healthy, and I want to get in shape. So he was given a guy like that who is, maybe like, hey, you can take a day off.
Yeah.
If I'm coaching LeBron, I'm like, hey, dude, I get it. You're 40, you got a lot of miles. You don't need to take the day off. That I understand. But when you give it to those guys and then they don't anyways, that's why everybody loved Andre Miller.
Yeah.
Andre Miller, you knew that he wasn't going to not show up or not do his job, and he was one of our best players. And so, I don't know where I was going with all of that, but essentially it's like having a guy, I know where I was going, like the Jeff Greens, and like going back to the Laker roster.
Yeah.
They added, like Rui Hachimura is in his like 4th or 5th year, I forget, maybe 6th year. Jackson Hayes is been in the league a few years. DeAndre Ayton, was arguably one of the better centers in Phoenix when they made their run. Better, inside players in the game. If you put him in the top 5 of centers, right? He wasn't a star, but he was really good.
Yeah.
And then you add Marcus Smart, and you have Austin Reeves, who should be better. He's getting better all the time. And this is the funny part. But when I said that, the response that I got from the general public was, and I even said, I'm like, this is Luka, 2nd or 1st best playmaker in the league, whether you think Jokic is better or not. He's really good. Both of them are really good. Yeah. I'm like, then the other player that's on that list is one that most, like half the world thinks is the best player ever. Right, so that's the debate. Is like half of the people listening or whatever think that LeBron is the best player ever, but they're still like, no way, that's his best roster. And of course, I want to justify my own opinion on that. But I'm like, how do you not say like that roster with all those guys? Like that's really good. Yeah. Like whether or not they're going to be good or not, I have no idea. But on paper, and of course, whatever, doesn't matter until we start playing. But that's a squad. Yeah. That's a really good team. And I'm like, he's done so much more with less, with that Boston or with the 23 team when they went to the finals. I don't know. I think it's must-see TV to watch the Lakers play.
Do you think now, and this is me kind of the speculative portion of LeBron and where he is in life, in his career, where, something like an advertisement for an alcohol, to me that screams, I'm feeling a little left out right now. Do you think this year you start to see a moment of, we can kind of do this without you from the Lakers?
I don't. Well, so here's the best part. So we get to find out right away. Right. Because he's not going to play for a little while. Right. I think he has sciatica or something like that.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, everybody over 40, you've got it already.
I've sat on a wallet before.
It sucks.
What is he, George Costanza?
I know.
Pulling it out.
He's like, I do think. So again, I don't think that maybe he purposely does it. I don't know. Maybe he's got this. I don't know LeBron at all. I don't know anybody that knows him that well, like off the floor, who he is. All I can discern from how he operates is when you do this, coming on the court and this is you do this. Like, it's one thing for somebody else to prop you up and tell you how good you are, but the humility that I like my players to have, and I want my players to be outspoken. Like, I love Anthony Edwards. I love how open his mouth is. I love his mouth. And even Durant, he's like, I'm Kevin Durant. Yeah. You know who I am. Like, that's a true.
You should know who I am.
Facts. Those are facts. Like, you can say that. But for a guy like that, to constantly maybe need to be in the public eye. So maybe he did do that announcement just to, or maybe Hennessy was like,
that's the thing.
I'm sure Hennessy was like, hey, let's do an announcement. Let's make this a big deal. And maybe they, egged him on to do it. Yeah. To me, it's ridiculous. A bit ridiculous, but it's like for a Hennessy ad, like,
Well,
But you're right. I think you're right. I think maybe he is feeling like, and I don't think he'd ever admit it, and I don't want to say anything negative about LeBron and how he operates, but are we going to see on his way out the self-promotion right? Of like, because when Larry Bird and Magic, and they all retired, it was Larry or Magic or vice versa, making sure the gym shut down on their last Lakers Celtics game that they were a part of, and put the rocking chairs out and did all the things and did that's how you honor your basically your nemesis for a decade or more, and your rival. And what's going to happen when LeBron decides to retire? I don't think he finishes a season and then retires in the offseason.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any chance.
There's a farewell tour.
There is a absolute tour that's going to happen for 82 games where he visits, and rightly so, like, do it, that's fine.
Yeah.
And he's probably going to, I don't think he retires because he's no longer able to, I think he's still somewhat proficient. Like, we've not really seen an old LeBron yet.
Yeah.
Like, he's still operating at a pretty high level.
You're getting there. There's moments.
I think that, I think you're right. I think there's less, watching him play though, he's still above the rim. He's still, he does settle for jump shots a lot, which I think was sort of like midway through his career, he started shooting the ball better and took way more jump shots. And you'll see guys when they get older in their career, they don't go in the paint anymore.
No.
They don't want to go to the rim. But it's hard.
Also, he also, something I've noticed is, you're not a fan, but from a fan's perspective,
I'm not a fan.
I still see the pick me things about him, like pick me.
Yeah.
And the attention, and when things don't go his way, as they are increasingly happening on the court, where he'll look at a ref and be like, that was a foul. Like, where's my call?
Yeah.
He's not getting that as much. So this kind of behavior,
you're not wrong. It's hard to.
It's happening more.
Yeah, it's hard to dispute it. I do think I don't know if it was last year, maybe it was the year before, and even I think you texted me about it when it happened, was when he was, literally on his knees in the Garden with his hands over a call. I get it. I think it might have been a game deciding. I totally forget the play.
Look, game deciding or not.
Yeah, but it was excessive, and even like some of the, he's just different. I just think there's something that's something always a bit bothered me about LeBron and the way he operates. Not his skill, not his longevity, not what he brings, but just something, the way he operates just doesn't feel like, I don't like, I'm not hitching my wagon to that.
Right.
When I look at guys that I think should be the most thought of players in the history of the game, like Kobe. Now, Kobe had some, I think post-retirement, he really went into the Mamba phase and doing all the things and doing all the speaking engagements, talking about how, his mentality and all these things. And I think that was okay because he was done playing and he was doing it then, maybe doing it for his daughter.
I think I'm totally fine with that, though.
I'm okay with that. Yeah. But while he played, you never saw him put a crown on his own head.
No.
You never saw him. You saw him celebrate wins and,
who doesn't?
And talk, maybe, run his mouth a bit at players, I'm sure. And Jordan was the worst. I love all the up close audios of what Jordan.
He's the biggest talker in the world.
Oh my God,
biggest talker in the world.
He and like Larry Bird was too, and John Stockton was as well. One of the dirtiest players in the league, not talkers, but dirtiest players.
Yeah.
But they just operated. You'd never know it. Like you didn't, when people find that out. But there's nothing about LeBron we don't know, because he is showing you all the things all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't care for the pick me. He is the pick me girl. To an extent. But which is the most ironic thing about it is you don't have to be.
He doesn't.
We're picking you anyway.
Yeah, like
you're on the list.
Nobody. I would be far-fetched to find somebody who would critique his skill or his athletic ability.
Yeah.
He might be the best athlete I've ever seen play a sport.
Yeah.
Just
He's a monster.
I've never seen anyone built like that.
Yeah.
There's always the conversation of, if you dropped a basketball player onto a football field, they couldn't do it. No, I think he could.
I thought he was an all-state receiver, wasn't he? Or a tight end or something? Yeah.
Either way, it's like drop him onto a baseball field. Do I think
Probably.
he could run down a fly ball?
Sure.
Yeah, probably.
He could probably throw a BB from
on a rope.
Yep.
Yep.
Right field to third base, easy.
And that's, going back to your point, he's always showing you kind of who he is. I think some of that maybe is the byproduct of the era he's played in. We've had constant access to him.
Yeah.
I grew up as a child in the 90s in Chicago. I love Michael.
Yeah.
I have a hard time admitting to myself that if social media existed when Michael was playing, I don't know if I'd love Michael as much as I do.
Oh, I don't think you would.
Because the mystery is still there with Michael.
Yeah.
And the mystery has still given me an awful lot of stories about Michael that I'm like, man, what a turd. Like, even The Last Dance.
Yeah, the gambling stuff. And like there was, Michael is,
he's a complex guy.
He's super, that's a great way to put it. I was trying to think of a really good word right there, but they always say don't meet your heroes because, there's certain, and I'm about every single one of us, we all have our flaws, but I do think if there were cameras, as many cameras then there are now, I think he'd have a hard time, but I think he'd be like more recluse than he is. Like you never know where he is or what he's going to do, but I do think he's less outwardly showing the pick-me side of him like players today do. There's very much, but there's money to be made in that. That's why I don't really knock any of these people, any of these players doing a lot off the court, like doing everything they can to promote, to do the pick-me vibe. But that's a guy he doesn't have to. And I guess the point that I want to make is like if you are, and he said he was the greatest player ever.
He's said it multiple times.
He said it.
He has said it multiple times.
I am. He's self-proclaimed, which is another thing that bothers me. But he's maybe not wrong. There's an argument to be made. But
yeah, of course.
But if he didn't do that, we would still put him in the category, right? We'd still have to talk about him.
Absolutely.
But I think one of the things it takes away from it is when you sit here and tell everybody how great you are, it becomes a bit, diluted. But Jordan did the same. Jordan didn't say I'm the greatest necessarily in like the way maybe LeBron has, but there have been moments where he's like, me.
He made you say it though.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I find that to be the difference between, Jordan's legacy and LeBron's from just someone who consumes media standpoint. LeBron has said it about himself. And you find an army and a litany of people that are going to say, yeah, he's the greatest ever. And they're trying to have the conversation. Jordan didn't really have to say it because he kind of just made everybody else say it. And he made them say it. Not in the like, you have to say it's me, but everybody it was undeniable for everybody.
It felt, to me, it felt more, and here we are, I said we were going to talk about the conversation, but here we are talking about it.
Well, I mean, we can throw 5 other names into this conversation.
Right. And as people talk about that, like, is it him or him? I'm like, there's 2 or 3 dudes that deserve to be in the conversation, and Kobe is one of them.
Absolutely.
I think I find it fascinating that people just step over, Kobe's grave to leave him out of the conversation. Like, he's got
100%.
5 championships. He was as feared as anybody in the league. Super competitive. Won with a bunch of different teams. I know he had stars, though they all do. No one does it on their own.
Of course not.
Some of the Cleveland people are going to say, well, LeBron didn't have anybody, and they still won.
I mean, he had Kyrie and
yes,
efficient Kevin Love at one point.
No one does it on their own, I guess. Is
right.
The point.
Yeah.
But I do think, there's a bunch of dudes that belong in the conversation, and you can look at guys that maybe haven't won as many championships. Like now, Jokic is going to be, if he wins again.
Well, if he wins another one,
I don't think he needs to win again necessarily to be in the top 5 conversation. But ever, like, he's arguably the MVP. He's done it twice. He could arguably win it every year, or 3 times.
Yeah, he's got 3.
And he could arguably, he could have given it to him last year, but Oklahoma City was the better team and was the best player on the best team.
Yep.
And there are little arguments here and there, but again, back to there doesn't have to be one. There'll never be just one. But it's just like,
well, because you leave out Bill Russell.
And
Jerry West.
I have a hard time with the older guys, but you can't, like, he's 11 championships.
Yeah.
Russell
Magic,
has 11.
Larry. I mean,
I think they have 5. Magic has 5. Larry has 3.
But these guys change
Hakeem,
parts of the game too.
Yeah, you got to throw in. I think you got to throw in like somebody from the Spurs.
Tim.
You got to throw in Tim Duncan somewhere.
I
like
think Tim.
You can't leave him out. Like
no.
People are going to be like, well, he's he just gets beat up on that whole conversation. Anyway, the bigger point.
I love Tim.
He was great. Like they won every other year for a decade.
Yeah.
Crazy town. It
made people in Denver furious.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Ended my first go around in the NBA. Like we lost to the Spurs and that was it. And they won in '99.
Yeah.
But I just think that the conversation is always going to happen. We're doing it right now. Even I said we wouldn't do it, but we're not really having it.
No,
but
we're not.
it's if you're in the conversation of the greatest ever, is that enough? Like
it should be.
It should be enough.
It should be enough.
And when you hear like Michael talk about it, he's so gracious. He's like, there's so many guys that I would have to give credit to before I even, Dr. J or whomever, like all the guys that he looked up to. I just don't think you can do it yourself and say it's me. Now you can say, again, go back to Durant. He has said it a number of times, like, I'm Kevin Durant, like I'm this bad dude, and he is. And so I'm okay with that. But that's always in the context of when he gets doubted and when he's like, I heard the other day, it was Charles Barkley, I think, some was going after Kevin Durant about, you've never been the bus driver on this. And I really didn't. I loved Charles. I didn't know why he was going after Kevin Durant so much on the Golden State Warrior team, right? Where it was him and Kyrie and Steph and Draymond. That's a squad. It's a really good team, right? And he is still one of the greatest scorers we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Whether, I don't know where he is on the ranking or on the list, but just a guy that you cannot do anything to, there's nothing you can do to hinder what he's going to do.
Yeah.
Double him, he'll figure it out. Leave him alone, he'll figure it out. Bigger guy, smaller guy, there's nothing you can do really to affect Kevin Durant. You just have to hope they maybe miss his shots, and that's not.
Yeah.
Anyway, so.
Doesn't happen very often.
No, it doesn't. And I'm excited to see him, like, again, talking about the season starting, like Houston's going to be really good. Like, it's going to be fun to watch. There's so many things this season to watch. Like, that whole first week, the league does it right. They just set up these matchups, like Denver at Golden State, game 1.
Yeah, it's great.
And Golden State's coming off a Laker game. So the Golden State plays the Lakers, and they go to play Denver in San Francisco. I'm like, this is awesome. What a great week. Like, I can't wait. So, so many things to talk about, and we'll, obviously try to dive into all that stuff throughout the season, but I don't know where I was going with all of that, but.
We will not say who our GOAT is. Neither one of us.
No.
Nope.
Can you tell?
No.
I'm, I don't have biases at all. I just think there's enough. The thing I love the most about the league today is that there are 6 teams that can win.
Yeah.
There isn't one that you're like, that team there's no way anybody's going to beat them. Like,
in the 90s,
we've had a different champion.
I had the best time ever.
You knew it was Chicago.
I always knew it was Chicago.
Yeah, it was Chicago. And they knew it was Chicago.
Right.
And that's why I was like, that's why they enjoyed beating everybody the way they did during the regular seasons. Because it's like, you guys didn't even come close during the regular season. Just because you're in the first round of the playoffs, you have no chance.
Right.
It's like, we are going to destroy you. We have bigger things to do than just worry about the Charlotte Hornets in the first round of the 1996 NBA playoff. Like,
I always love the Charles Barkley talking crap to the reporters clip where he's like, tell them to put those signs away, and then Chicago just comes back out, finishes the job.
That's right.
Like,
in the Phoenix.
Oh,
Phoenix
man.
Yeah, it's just like, and so, I have friends of mine that don't like the NBA. They prefer college basketball. Or they're like, oh, the NBA and the myths, right? And one of these pods will do, like, it'll be just myths.
Ooh.
There's no defense in the NBA, which is the biggest myth in the world.
Really? Because Oklahoma City stifled people.
They're all the best teams. And it's, again, depending on what you're looking at, you can see, like, well, how do guys get so open? How do they, why are there so many open shots or dunks or whatever? Like, it's just a highlight reel. It's just there's no play calls. It's just open basketball. It's just like this freestyle. Like, no, it's not as simple as that.
If you haven't learned anything, watch the film and then come talk to us about it.
Watch the game.
Yeah, watch the game.
Yeah, and so, but I have friends of mine that are like, I don't like the NBA, and I literally asked, just, well, tell me more. Why not? And
right.
Like, I don't know. I just don't like it. I'd rather watch college basketball. I'm like, well, and my argument, and he'll probably listen to this and he'll call me on that, but my argument is like, if you watch any given college basketball game, there's 1 or 2 pros on the floor.
Right. The rest are accountants.
The rest are, the rest are going to be, they're accountants. Well played. And so no one's going to make this NBA team. Like, there's only 1 or 2 guys on the floor that have a chance to play professional basketball.
Right.
And I just think, like, now you've got the NBA where those 2 guys you just watched last year in college won't even be on the floor.
No.
Aside from, Ace Bailey and Harper and Cooper and all these guys, but the top, the lottery picks, but you're not even going to see them on the court. And like, so just the level of, it's like, would you rather watch college football or watch the NFL? I don't know. I mean, you're more of a football fan than I am, but it's like, I want to watch the best players in the world do their thing. I mean,
there's still the same argument, for the NFL versus college football. Life comes at you quick. Biggest case to be made would be the CU and the Colorado Buffaloes.
Okay.
Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Arguably the best players on their team and maybe in their entire conference last year. Life comes at you quick.
Yeah.
When it's not future car salesmen, office people, accountants, doctors.
Mm-hmm. These are pros on the other side.
These are pros on the other side.
Yeah.
Travis, we're 6 weeks into the NFL season, and the Heisman winner from last year just caught his first NFL touchdown.
Wow, didn't know that.
On October 19th.
Yeah.
That's 6 weeks into the season.
Again, that proves the point. Like, they're that support. That's why I love the NBA, is because they're the
best of the best.
They're the best, and they're, even when they get there early, like, so people get fired up about the draft.
Right.
And I used to say, it's hyperbole, but it's like the draft is essentially irrelevant for now.
Sure.
Right? There are players that transcend or change. Wemby was different. Cooper's going to be good because Dallas is going to be reasonable. They're going to be good. So luckily, Cooper goes to a team that's probably a playoff team. When Kyrie comes back, they're even better. So he's going to have a chance to play. What usually happens is the number 1 pick goes to the worst team, and so they toil on this worst team. Like, you watch, like, Ace Bailey is going to struggle. I think that's my guess.
Right.
I think Ace Bailey. I want to watch it, see how he plays. But Utah's going to be so bad that the growth will be hard to see, and he's going to take bad shots and do bad things and learn bad habits, and because they're going to be bad. But Cooper has a chance to do the role, like have a limited role on a team that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And so his growth will be like, it's exponential. It's sort of like Wemby when he first got to San Antonio. They weren't very good at all.
No.
They're still not. I mean, they're good. I think they make the playoffs this year. But
French Vanilla.
Yeah, French Vanilla's great. What a great nickname.
Great nickname.
That's awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Is it not Luke Cornett? Is that Luke Cornett? No, who's the French kid? Who's the vanilla kid? It's not Luke Cornett. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
I'm drawing a blank, but that is a great nickname.
Great nickname.
And I want to say it all the time now.
And so Wemby, as good as he is and was early on, they were still bad. Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, even this transcendent, player we've never seen anything like it. We're still year 4, and they haven't made the playoffs.
Well, it's like, to that point too, Zion. Health was an issue for Zion, but
I still think he's good.
Yeah, I mean, look,
I think
he had himself a time in Europe
over
the off season where just like, I was watching one of the European games and I was like, wow, this is okay. This is the Zion that I remember.
He's different.
He's a different kind of player.
Different.
But you go to New Orleans, things aren't super great.
Yeah, and he's a 19-year-old kid who you could probably see didn't have the information necessary to take care of his body, and you think, oh, he's a pro athlete, just hire somebody.
It's not that easy.
It's not that easy. It is that easy, but it's not that, like, it's not something that, if the kid's not ready to do it, they're not going to do it, right? They're 19, and they're, so I'm sure now it's much better. I would imagine his diet's much better.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
You go through that stuff. Like, every first couple year player goes through like this, oh my God, I have this stack of cash and a brand new car and a new like, what? Like, you know,
every first-year player has in any professional sport has the propensity to be an idiot.
Yeah, to just make some, and I think you have to do some of that stuff to kind of get to the part where you're like, oh, now I know. Now like Luka.
Yeah.
Luka was essentially chubby for, 7 years.
Yep.
Out of shape to start the season and was always just kind of thick and now he's finally like, no, I'm going to take care of my body and I'm going to change this and do like that's what you would hope year one. So back to Zion, like I still think he is, it's impossible to stop. I think I once made the comparison of like his physical difference between the next player is similar to what Shaq was to the next player when Shaq played and when he was really good. Like his leaping ability, his strength, his power, like is just different. And you see when he plays, he's just explosive. He's the most explosive player on the floor. One of the most explosive in the league. I hope he figures it out. I really think the league would be better if Zion plays.
Yeah.
I want to see him play.
We've segued into rookie expectations. You've talked about Cooper Flagg. Because Dallas has a foundational structure in place for him to somewhat succeed. He'll probably have a pretty successful rookie year. Ace Bailey, maybe not. Someone that I have watched frequently over the last couple of years, Nate Clifford in Sacramento, seems to have landed in a spot where he will start, he will play, he will see legitimate playing time this year. I'm curious though, Sacramento has an interestingly built roster that I don't know.
I don't know the rest of the roster. I still think.
You've got
Zach LaVine is there.
Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan.
So Sacramento is just one of those places where I don't know why, but it's like the Clippers in the 90s.
Okay.
And the Clippers in the 90s were just like almost cursed, but they couldn't get out of their own way.
Just couldn't figure it out.
They couldn't, whoever they drafted didn't work out, was a bust. Whatever, they had an owner at that time who was a horrible human being. He's been banned, right? Yeah, he was terrible. And so there's just this cloud that followed the Clippers everywhere. And for some reason, I think Sacramento has that same cloud. And I don't know much about Doug Christie, about his coaching style and how they do things, but problem is they're in the West.
Yeah.
And they're
hard conference.
Very difficult to be top 10 in the West. And I know like Neek has this perfect body. In fact, this gym where we're sitting was when I first got to know him a little bit. We had pickup games in this gym years ago, pre-COVID, and he was still a high school player at that time, but he'd play in this gym. He was always really good. I haven't seen him play enough to have a strong thought on what he's going to do. I think all the measurables are there. I think Sacramento's going to be fine. Like he's not going to go there and be like stuck in purgatory. Like Sacramento's okay,
right?
But they're not like. So he'll be supported, I think, and I think he's a smart enough kid that he's going to treat himself like a professional and act like a professional and do all the things. I think he's that kid that I don't have to worry about Neek, like off the court or doing anything or, getting into trouble of any kind. I think he's a mature kid, and I think that's one of the reasons why he got drafted so high.
Yeah.
But I think, again, another good storyline of a local kid who, people are excited to see.
719 to the 970.
Yeah,
actually.
So I think I'm excited. That's one kid that I watched a little bit of the summer league, and the summer league it's not irrelevant, but it's just hard to gauge who's going to be any good in the summer league. It's just not the same basketball. They're
right.
It's not a joke, but in the summer league, there's only 2 NBA players in the summer league per team.
Yeah.
No one else is playing. Like no one else is on that roster.
It's a tune-up game.
It's two guys that are draft picks, and then 10 guys that are just summer free agents that won't even be there come now. So it's like you're not even watching really NBA basketball. You're watching, a couple draft picks and then a bunch of guys that are fringe. So it's it's professional, but it's not.
And they're trying.
Yeah, and there's no NBA guys on the court at that time technically. So, but it'll be fun. That's another rookie that like you think or you hope. Because I feel like he's a good kid and is doing it right, but I don't know. That's still out. And so back to the original points, like we don't know these things yet.
Yeah,
we got to wait 20 games.
Yep. See how it shakes out.
Talk to me in 20 games, and then we can assess. And like, all right, here's the 20. We have a data set that will give us some feedback to make some thoughts, and for all those people that have opinions on this, like now they can. But there will be this week, come Thursday or Friday, the most overreactions you've ever heard.
Oh, of course.
It happens every year. There'll be
1-2 games, and people, here's your title, here's the record prediction.
Lakers will get beat by 20, against Golden State, and they'll be like, see, Lakers are terrible.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. They'll blow them out and be like, see, here they come. We don't need LeBron, kind of thing. Like it's going to be. I can't wait. It's going to be great.
There's an author, Hanif Abdurraqib, great writer. Someone I enjoy for his writing about pop culture, and he weaves in sports into a lot of his writing. And he's a diehard Timberwolves fan, and he has this. Every year he admits it. He admits it to himself and everybody who follows him on social media, where he says, I have this irrational delusion that the Wolves are going 82-0. And just, and I'm like, that's where we're at in the season.
We haven't talked about it. I'm glad you brought the Timberwolves up. Keep going.
Everyone's 82-0 right now.
Yeah,
until they're not.
Yeah, and so it's a tough time for podcasting and media stuff pre-season. From the end of the summer league to now, it's all a giant guess. Like we don't know anything. All these like, is Houston going to be one of the better teams because of Durant? Or is Denver going to be that much better because of the things they added? Sure, maybe, probably. It's a likely scenario, but we do not know. We don't know when the lights are on and it matters how things play out. We know we have the constants of like, with Denver, we know what Jokic is and what Gordon is and what all these guys are. And with Oklahoma City, we know I don't think Oklahoma City's roster changed at all. I don't even know what changes they went through, but they're still going to be really good. We know. Yeah. So you can have some sort of like, yes, there probably will be with some certainty, but no one's going to know what's going to happen.
So you paid a lot of money to people this offseason.
Right, yeah.
Money that was well-deserved.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm trying to think of what Minnesota did in the offseason, too. I'm drawing a blank on how they changed. But it's time for a team like that.
I think McDaniel is gone.
Okay. But they were a Western Conference Final team. Like, they're really good. And they've been there for – I don't know what they think, like, if they are a championship team or not. I hope they get to that place. I think they're right on the cusp of it, right on the edge of it. And I do think that they will be the top four. I think they're one of the top 4 or 5 teams in the West, or in the league, period, because the West is going to be better than the East. But I just don't see them not being in the conversation throughout the entire thing.
No, I think they have to be. Yeah. There's a joke that, I'm in a bunch of text threads with different friends that are fans of one team or another, and there's kind of a joke where it has seemed to be that for the last few years, Minnesota was built to beat Denver and Denver only, and then literally nobody else in the playoffs. Yeah. Because that's how it has happened. Yeah. Just like, even this last season when I don't think Denver beat Minnesota once last season. If they did, it was once. Yeah. But prior to that, playoffs, Minnesota got them, and then the year Denver won, Minnesota was their toughest series. And so it makes me laugh because I'm like, oh, Tim Connolly just built this team to beat Denver and maybe nobody else.
It's probably not wrong. But I do think it's as simple as, knowing some general managers as I do, just a few of them. Yeah. It very much so. I think it sounds like, oh, they wouldn't do that. That sounds like, fantasy basketball. No, they would do that. They would build a team because you as a general manager, like, all right, who do we need to beat? In these series, who are we going to see
to get to the finals?
To get to the finals? And it's like, I remember the Zach Edey came out of Purdue, right? He's 7'4" or whatever. And when he was getting the draft, I'm like, you have to draft him. And they're like, well, he's not that good, or he's limited in this, and he's limited in that. I'm like, I don't care what he does offensively, but think about who he has to beat to do anything. Who Memphis has to beat to do anything, and you think about like. You need somebody to guard Joel Embiid. You need somebody to guard Jokic. You need somebody to guard Wemby. You need somebody to guard, like Chet Holmgren. You need somebody to guard these 7-foot+ players. Giannis. Porzingis, he was maybe on the second tier, but Atlanta's going to be really good, by the way.
Yeah.
Zach Edey was is a 7'4" monster, and he doesn't, he's strong, and they're like, well, he can't guard Embiid. I'm like, well, but he'll do a better job of guarding Joel or Jokic than a 6'10" smaller guy would do.
Right.
But so you draft a guy like that simply to play against those 5 teams.
Yeah, DeAndre Jordan's not guarding.
Right. No.
You can't do it.
No, it's like you draft the kid who's at Miami, his nickname was like Off Night. He was like the defender, and I forget, I'm blanking on his name now. But he's like known to be this like tenacious defender, like on-ball defender.
Mm-hmm.
Like a guy like that, like you draft him, like, oh, he can't shoot, he can't. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah,
he'll stop. He will guard the best player on the court every night without question. And that's he's one of the best on-ball defenders in the league. It's sort of like even Draymond Green, who I've gone back and forth on whether or not I'm a big fan of his. But on your team, you like him. I'm not on your team, you don't like him. Fine, but he's so smart defensively. He just is always in the right spot, and he hits you so much that you can't call every foul. So
right.
It's like
with OKC, you can't call every foul.
You can't call every foul.
Yeah.
So you start hitting early, and they're like, well, we're gonna let that one go because it's happened so much. You can't call them anyway. So you draft guys or you build these teams around these small things. Like, and I'll go to Denver too. Like, Porter Jr., as good of a shooter as he is, and he's one of the best in the league, catch and shoot guys. But there's truly, after 5 years, the guy just didn't really defend very well.
Right.
And it has nothing to do with his skill. It's just a recognition thing. It was more a scheme. Like, he wasn't very good at understanding or seeing rotations or understanding the screen and roll coverages or understanding just the concepts of team defense. And the mistakes aren't glaring. It's just a late rotation where you're just a half step late to the rim. And so
But that becomes glaring in the final box score.
Yeah, it can, for sure. Because you're gonna see, a missed assignment on a rotation and an open layup for the game. Yeah. And that's it. And that's all it takes for a team like Denver to get beat against, an Oklahoma City. But now with Cam Johnson, with a smarter, more capable defender, and a second unit so like last year we talked about this during the playoffs, that Oklahoma City had 10 guys. They had 10 guys that played meaningful minutes.
Yep.
Denver had 7,
maybe
6. They had a couple of performances. Strother had a good game, I think, and I'm trying to think of the other kid who had one game where you're like, oh, okay.
Did they even have 6?
And there so they're arguably 6 or 7 guys, right? And you're playing 7 on 10. And so in the offseason, Denver's like, all right, screw it. We're going to go build. We have to build a second unit and, tighten up the first unit, build a second unit with a guy we know, Bruce Brown, with Cam's really good. He's, he'll start right away and he'll insert himself. I don't think they'll shoot as well as they once did, but they're still going to shoot the ball okay because they'll be open.
Well, even in the preseason, you can tell he's not used to getting passes from Jokic like Jokic can.
Yeah.
There's a different touch in the way he will pass you the ball at times. Yeah. And I actually saw something when the trade happened. I saw something that showed a quality of shot that Cam had last year.
Mm-hmm.
It was an F because of the situation that his team was perpetually in.
Yeah.
His quality of shots were always an F.
Yeah.
That's got to be
a
C at best now.
From where I watch it, the NBA and this is very obvious, but it's shot selection, right? So if you show me a team that gets anything open, so I always tell my teams, anybody that I deal with in basketball, I'll ask the question, what's the best shot in basketball? They're like, oh, a dunk, or I'm like, no, the open one.
The open one.
I don't care if it's open, that's the best one.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to get a lot of them.
Yeah.
And so, these teams that struggle, you're like, well, why are some of these teams, why is Charlotte really, really bad? They don't have players that recognize the chance to get an open shot. Not that they can't get one, but they don't recognize necessarily in a timely manner that if they made this decision, it would lead to an open shot. Like a closeout or a player going out to an offensive player with his hands high, and that player maybe makes the wrong decision and they pass up an opportunity to have an open shot.
Right.
The really smart teams don't ever pass up that opportunity, or they treat that opportunity really well and get the shot they want.
Yeah.
Right. And so with a guy that sees the floor as well as Jokic does and passes it as well as he does, he will find open shots for players.
Right.
And you have to just, it's got to be such a, not easy game, but a simple game to just be on the court with a guy like Jokic, because he's just going to find, he sees the plays the right way. Like I always talked about Draymond, like where Draymond was maybe talking about how good he was. And like, I'm like, please try another team. Go somewhere else and play without Steph Curry.
Right.
Life is going to be really hard.
It'll be really
you'll
different
never
too.
be open. We
Right.
we don't ever have to, he's open now because everybody goes to Steph and he gets opportunities because he's open. Like you'll never be open on another team.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, I said this last year, but the group itself matters, and Denver's group has been improved. They're literally, I think it's just to beat Oklahoma City. Like they're, that it's those two teams in the West that I think are
that's what they have to
consensus.
go through.
Yeah, no question. And I think they're built to do that. And again, another in 20 games, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're, 16-4 or whatever, or something cool, and we can talk about them in Oklahoma City being the two best teams in the West and
duking it out for the rest of the season.
And yeah, but the Clippers are going to be good. Houston's going to be good. I think the Lakers are going to be good. I think Dallas is going to be okay. I think they're going to be a playoff team.
Yeah.
I don't know about Memphis. I don't think Zach Edey was still injured, or I'm not sure what's going on there. But again, the top four teams, we know who those are going to be. The fun stuff's going to be who's going to be the bottom four teams in the West. And I can't wait.
I can't either.
This is great.
So
3
20
days,
games in.
2 days.